remembers the WPL D12. It was a fantastic little truck which could easily be turned into a drift truck for very little money, and some people even made them brushless. I actually did this myself and that turned out to be a lot of fun, and it was actually a lot more capable than I thought it was going to be. And here in front of me we have the brand new D14, and there's two major differences with this version. This time it's four-wheel drive, and it's also officially licensed by Suzuki, and that makes this new little truck very exciting indeed. So let's take a closer look at what we get in the box, and then of course we're going to take a closer look at the truck itself. So first up, here we have the battery, and it's an 800 milliamp hour 2S lithium ion. These little trucks are really efficient, so this should give us decent runtime. Here we have a USB charger. Also in the box you have a big bag of accessories which you do need to fit yourself, and that includes decals. There's also some spare drive shafts, of course the wing mirrors and the door handles. None of these things are pre-fitted to the truck. You will need to spend some time applying the decals and all the exterior accessories before you even get this out for a run. And I have said in the past, if you're selling something as a ready to run, then surely it should be a ready to run. But WPL were well known for this, it's nothing new. Here we have a black and white manual. Finally, here we have the transmitter. Now I remember this from the D12. It's actually pretty nice. It's certainly one of the nicer, cheaper, ready-to-run transmitters that I've ever used. Now, of course, we've got our steering trim adjustment up on the top there. We've also got steering rate and throttle rate. We'll take a much closer look at those when we power the truck on later. Right, so let's take a closer look at the truck itself. Now, of course, this does look identical to the D12, but again, like I mentioned earlier, this thing does have two major differences. The first one being it's fully licensed now by Suzuki. The D12 wasn't, but this one is. This one is also four-wheel drive now. Now, a lot of the time I don't put drivers in my RC cars, but Buzz Lightyear is going to be the driver for today. He's very happily chilling in the driver's seat at the moment. Now, a lot of the exterior details are pretty much exactly the same as the D12. There isn't really anything that's changed because, of course, this is still based on the Suzuki Carry. You still get a very decent sized flatbed, and of course a roll cage, the wing mirrors. This even has windscreen wipers. This does have LED headlights, and we will power this on and take a look at those. You also get a plastic interior with this. So let's talk about some of the chassis features first. Now let's have a look at the suspension. Now the front end actually feels really nice. I actually think that feels a little bit different to the D12. Maybe it's just in my head, I'm not entirely sure, but that does feel a bit nicer. Now on the rear we get leaf spring suspension, and on the D12 it wasn't great. Does it feel any better on this? Not really, it's pretty much the same story. Now the wheels and tyres look exactly the same as the D12. Now underneath they have changed a few things because of course they have made this four-wheel drive. Now I'll stick a picture on the screen now to show you what the front actually looks like and the way they've actually created this to make it four-wheel drive. So of course we have the plastic drive shafts. Now you can adjust the camber and toe on this, which is always a really nice little addition. Now if we turn this full-size spare, under here is where the battery is housed. Now this battery tray is really not massive, and a lot of people had to get creative when they did brushless conversions on these. Even so, it's still okay for the stock battery. Now it looks like we have an open front diff, but this does have a locked rear diff. Now electronics wise, this thing has a 280 size brush motor, a 3-wire servo, and then of course you've also got a 3-in-1 ESC and receiver. Now as you can see, I have got this switched on. We're going to take a look at the steering rate and the throttle rate, and then of course we're going to give this thing a quick test run. Now that is the low setting on the steering. If we hit the steering rate button, that is the high setting. You do get a lot more travel, and that is going to give you a very nice tight turning circle. Let's take a look at the two throttle rates. That appears to be the low throttle rate. Let's click the button in. And that is the high throttle rate. That does make a huge difference. Very, very cool. Now I really don't see the point in speed testing this, but there's always that one person who says, well, how fast does it actually go? I don't think it really matters because this is a scale truck, but I'm going to do it anyway just to make sure everyone's happy. So the first thing we need to do is start the GPS. Let's give this a very quick speed test. Of course, I've got it on the high throttle setting. It does feel a little bit different to drive because it is four-wheel drive now. That is full throttle. I love these trucks so much. I love the D12 and I really like this. It does sound a little bit different as well. I think that's because it's got a slightly different setup. Let's see how fast this new D14 goes. Buzz Lightyear seems to be doing a very good job at controlling this truck. Oh no, it's toppled over. Come on Buzz, you need to do better. I also lost a wing mirror. Right, let's see what we got. So let's hit read. 9 miles per hour. Pretty much what you would expect from a truck like this. So 9 miles per hour is not very quick, but you don't buy a truck like this for speed. If you did want to make it slightly quicker, you could fit a brushless motor in it and do a little bit of a conversion like what I did a couple of years ago now, and that actually turned out to be really fun. But I actually think they're really good and they drive really well in their stock form. I'll tell you what would be fun though, just fitting some drift tyres, and then this thing will be sliding around like crazy. So that is the low speed setting. Still pretty quick even on low speed. I have turned the steering rate down a little bit as well. I just love these trucks. They're so cool for the money. And there are so many mods you can do to make these things even better. Really, really cool. Now, of course, I'm over here on the road, so drift performance isn't great. You're not going to be sliding around too much. The tyres actually grip pretty well. But I think if I was on a completely flat surface, maybe like really smooth concrete or something like that, I think this would slide around a lot easier than it is. Now I am really interested to see how much weight this thing could actually carry before it can't take anymore. Now all I need to do is find some heavy items. I think we'll use some of these rocks. Let's see how many it can handle. So let's stick that in the back. Let's see if it can handle that. Yeah, easily. Easily. Let's stick another one in. Let's see if it can handle 2. That's going to be pretty heavy now. Come on, Buzz. Oh, it did struggle a little bit. Maybe it's worth a try. I wonder if it can carry this. Can it carry this big heavy rock? No, it's just a little bit too heavy. So this can carry a little bit of weight, nothing too heavy though. Let's try a little bit of off-roading over on the dirt here. Now because this is 4-wheel drive, of course it's going to grip a little bit better. It's going to handle some basic off-roading. I think with a different set of tyres, this could actually be a decent off-roader. It definitely has some good potential. It's bouncing around like crazy there. So there we go then guys, that was the brand new WPL D14, another really cool truck in the WPL lineup. But do I prefer this over the D12? I'm not sure I do. I think the D12 was fun because it was rear wheel drive and it used to slide around easily. I think the D14 is just a little bit too sensible. Now of course being 4-wheel drive, it does grip a lot better, and I think if you was to fit some off-road tyres to this, you could probably do some mild off-roading. But again, I think the D12 was just a bit more fun in my opinion. Now it really depends on what you're looking to do. If you're looking for something 4-wheel drive, then of course you have the option with this. If you're looking to create a drift machine, or you just want to have some fun with a cheap truck, I think the D12 is going to be the one to go for. But overall, this thing turned out to be a lot of fun. And I think we have to say a massive thank you to our little buddy Buzz. Thanks, buddy. So I think we've pretty much covered everything. Let me know in the comments what you make of the D14. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps with the growth of the channel. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one. Take care. Now, if you want to check out my review of the WPL D12, click the top video now, or click the bottom video to check out the brushless conversion that I did.